So you need to know that this is a huge privilege for me right now. I grew up listening to the Beach Boys singing "I Wish They All Could Be." In fact, I'm not going to sing because that's... sorry, guys, forgive me. That's, I can't believe I did that. You see, that's what happens. Yeah. America's most popular and famous band, arguably over the last 50 years. How do you get a title like that? What kind of accolade? I mean, that's... What do you attribute your success to?
Well, we had a tremendous amount of good fortune in the early to mid, even to the late 60s, where we had a lot of hit records. And they've been being performed till this day. My 14-year-old daughter came home from school a few years ago, 4 years ago, saying, my 4th grade class's favorite song is Wouldn't It Be Nice, which showed up on our Pet Sounds album that we recorded in 1966.
And 50 First Dates, that movie that time that she saw it.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, and Pet Sounds, sorry, Pet Sounds has also been one of the top 100 albums of all time. I mean, didn't the Beatles say that inspired their Sgt. Pepper album?
Well, you know, it's we loved the Beatles. They loved our stuff. Brian Wilson, pretty amazing melody guy, and we're lucky.
Yeah, and Paul McCartney said, like, God Only Knows, one of the songs from the Pet Sounds album was like the perfect song. And that's a great compliment coming from a guy who's penned a few perfect songs.
That's right.
Now, I think, you know, as an artist, you know, you go out there and try to create from scratch. And I saw one of the videos that I saw on the internet where the TV announcer announced you as being the creators of the California surf sound. Mm-hmm. What is that? What was that like for you? The process of creating. When did you find it that this is the sound? Oh my goodness.
Well, first of all, our first subject matter was surfing, along with the cars we admired and lusted after back in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, well,
still.
So that was the subject matter, and then it's the way we sounded. We're particularly fond of harmonies, you know, all the 4-part harmonies in our records. In fact, that kind of distinguishes the Beach Boys from many other groups because of the refined harmonies, and that's a result of us listening to the Everly Brothers and a group called the Four Freshmen, who in the 50s did a thing they called modern harmony, and now they call it carbon-dated harmony.
All right, let's talk carbon dating. 50 years ago, I mean, we talk about Microsoft starting in a garage, but in a sense, the brothers and the cousins started in the bedroom, harmonizing. I mean, take us back to the beginning. How did the Beach Boys start?
We actually did write our first song in a converted garage. It was converted into a music room because my cousin Brian and his brothers Dennis and Carl and I were at all the family gatherings together, and we would split off from the old folks, the parents, and do our music, which was doo-wop and Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and early rock and roll. So that's how we got started. And literally, we wrote our first song in the converted garage, but it was a music room with a piano and so on, in the Wilson's house in Hawthorne, California.
And then Bruce, California Girls, that was your debut into the band, and then...
Well, you know, it turns out Brian had 4 jobs instead of 1 because he was, you know, writing with Mike, he was arranging, he was producing, which is like directing in movies, and then he was going on the road, you know, so luckily he stayed home and came out with more wonderful things. I came into the band and I was able to record from the get-go. As soon as about 3 weeks after I joined the band, we were doing California Girls.
Wow.
On this new album. So here I am, and I just want to say it's only been 29 short summers since we played at Sun City. Now we're playing there Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
Our Cape Town stuff, perfect. The audiences were great, but 29 short summers later, not only are we playing in South Africa for the first time, we're going back to Sun City, so that's going to be kind of nice. Especially the Miss South African contest Sunday.
Hey, you would bring that up, Bruce. You know, and earlier the comment about the shirt and how the Miss South Africa. You know,
you brought that on yourself, I must say. With a shirt like that,
these guys, they sound such nice guys. Behind the scenes, man, it's a chirp here and a chirp there. And, yeah. Although, Mike, you were great about the shoes. So thank you.
You know, great footwear. You know, we're going to do a feature on shoes today.
But I must ask, I mean, a career spanning almost 50 years, as Michael just stated now, and starting off in an era where the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were also getting into it.
Those upstarts? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we were ahead of the Stones.
Yes,
We
yeah,
started
they were
a couple
62.
years ahead.
And there must have been some pretty epic highlight moments in such a long time. Tell us about some of those.
Well, I think the biggest concert day that we ever had was in 1985 on our July 4th, which is the Independence Day for the U.S. And we did a show in Philadelphia in the afternoon, and DC in the evening. And they were free shows, sponsored, and we had other acts with us that you know, some R&B acts, country acts, you know. So it was a very diverse bit of music that day, but the paper in Philadelphia reported there were 900,000 people at the concert, and in DC there was like 750,000. It was just only so many you can put in the space we were at, the Washington Monument Grounds, and it was, I mean, over 1.5 million people in person in one day, so that has to be pretty special.
That's big.
Yeah,
seen a million faces and rock them all.
Yeah.
To quote another band who no one knows about.
No, I'm completely blown away by that. That is, I mean, you know, I sing in a boy band myself, and I kind of feel like you're the forefathers, if like, am I allowed to call it the forefathers of, you know, boy band?
Do you guys sing without instruments ever?
We do a cappella
stuff.
We do a cappella.
Yeah.
It's
like
awesome.
Doo-wop, you know, 50 years later. It's fantastic.
We did an a cappella song last night, and well, when I say last night, I didn't mean that. We do an a cappella song in our show.
Correct.
Yeah, and we like to do that because strip it down to just the vocals.
Right. Yeah.
That's very cool.
So how has music changed? Because we talk about, you know, the original music, or this is how it used to be. In the last 5 decades, there's been electronica, there's new instruments, you know, there's marketing, there's all sorts of things that have changed. Talk us through some of those changes.
There's a tremendous amount of capacity to do just about everything, and there's so many, what do you call it, different types of music. There's something for everybody, literally. But we're kind of in our own little, you know, time capsule, I think.
Doesn't mean that we don't listen. I particularly think Eminem is an absolute lyrical genius. You know, he doesn't waste his words. He's nominated for 10 Grammys. Wow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's 11 more than we've been nominated for. But anyway.
That's not true. We've been nominated 1, 2, 3 times.
Okay. Wow. I was trying to be humble.
So you're humble. 3 times, everybody.
I want to kind of say thank you, because I had my first romantic dance in primary school to Kokomo.
Really?
I did. I actually did. Like, back in the day, they actually played it, and I had my first close-up dance.
Oh,
that's a great memory. Huh?
Well, you know, that song actually turns out to be our biggest hit single. And we've had some big ones, but you know, but that one surpassed Good Vibrations, which was 1966. Kokomo was 1988. It went to #1. Wow. And it turns out to have been our most successful single record. And it's the biggest sing-along on our show.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to take a chance here. We talked about it's just music. If we asked you to do a bit of an a cappella number now, would you do that for us? I mean, I'm just thinking of sitting here listening to the Beach Boys live, singing.
It's kind of like having one hand clap.
You can take me now.
It's not that bad. If you join us, you go Aruba, Jamaica.
Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go?
Now, I'm not going to dance slow with you.
Oh, fantastic. That is beautiful. That is magnificent.
I can't believe this has happened in my lifetime. Oh, amazing stuff.
Goosebumps all over the place.
Yeah,
You can see.
Thank you so much.
It must be really unique.
That's great. Bruce, Mike, thank you so much for
guys.
your
It's an
time.
absolute pleasure.
And thank you for the legacy, because you're right. Generations, my kids, my parents, we enjoyed you, we loved you, and thank you for the
Thank you for Cape Town, everybody. And we've got those 2 shows at Sun City, Friday and Saturday night. So we'll see anyone who comes up.
Cool.
See you there.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
I kind of like want to go round, round, get around, I get around,
Get around, get around, I get around.
Cool, man.
Guys, thank you. That's great.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.